With the retirement of Dr. Gebert, new minister Dr. Robert Warren had big shoes to fill, and he wasted no time. Built on the foundation laid by Dr. Gebert and church leaders, programs, plans, and ideas continued to grow. Hymns were played daily on the tower bells. This was made easier when the bells were electrified in 1959. This system used player piano type rolls and could also be played from the organ console. The chapel building was the last piece of the original church campus plan to be constructed. It would include a chapel intended for smaller gatherings, classrooms, pastor study, bride's room, and kitchen. Ground was broken in May 1962 and was dedicated the following February. Named for Dr. and Mrs. Gebert, the chapel was open daily for prayer and meditation.
The congregation continued to grow and began 2 services with the youth choir at the first and the temple singers at the second. In 1963, outreach to the community continued with Sunday morning services presented on radio. Lent was celebrated as a church family by having Wednesday night dinners, and the growing youth group gathered weekly for dinners prepared by women of the church. At the request of an active group of teenagers, the God Squad was formed. Eventually including over 50 young people, this musical group sang and gave testimonies not only at community church, but at other churches and events throughout Southwest Washington.
Reverend Paul Roper was hired in 1964 for visitations and pastoral care. He stayed for 17 years until his retirement and was later given the title of Pastor Emeritus. 38 years after the original sanctuary construction, the chancel was remodeled to include a new communion table, lectern, pulpit, and baptismal font, and a cross.
In the mid-60s, mottled gold glass in sanctuary windows was replaced by colored glass. Medallions were added to the 8 side aisle windows, and the 4 windows added in the narthex represented the Gospels: Matthew, winged man; Mark, winged lion; Luke, winged ox; and John, winged eagle.
The generosity of a church couple in 1965 in deeding to the church an 80-acre tree farm created an ever-giving resource. They intended that the tree farm provide work for the unemployed and that proceeds from the timber sales assist people going into Christian work or the mission field. The trustees oversaw the maintenance, planting, and harvesting of the timber stand, which was later expanded to 130 acres. Over the years, about $150,000 has been awarded to more than 4 dozen scholarship recipients, and proceeds have also funded over $1 million in repairs and upgrades to church facilities. Dr. Bob Warren oversaw changes and growth during his time at Longview Community. However, he felt it was time for him to change and grow, so he accepted a call from another church in 1969.
My father was a minister, as I said earlier, and my 2 older brothers were ministers, and when I was just a boy in high school, I thought that I ought to do something else and was interested in law. But during my freshman year of college, I don't remember the exact occasion, but we had a special speaker at a chapel service, and at that time I felt very definitely that the Lord wanted me to prepare for the ministry. So from that time on, that was my main goal, and I've never regretted it. It's been a very blessed opportunity to serve God, and be of help, I hope, to many people. From the very beginning of my ministry, I have felt that the most important thing is preaching Christ and Him crucified and what it means to really be a Christian and follow Him. And preaching is something I've always enjoyed doing. I felt that that was my first task and most important task as a pastor. As I look back over my ministry from when it began in the mid-30s, I think 12 of my very happiest years were right here at Longview.